Hi everyone, I'm Mel from The Passionate Nutritionist. Welcome to Women's Health Week. I'm really excited to be speaking to you all today and looking forward to doing a presentation on something a little different than that I normally present on, but something that is definitely very relevant to helping you reach your nutrition goals. So I'll just share my screen. So today I'm going to be talking to you about healthy habits. And healthy habits are really important as part of your health journey, because without trying to create the right habits, we're not going to reach what goals that we have. So I'm going to hopefully give you some really good tips on how you can break that down and make that actionable so that you can achieve these in your own life. I should start by saying that I've got a degree in nutrition as well as a degree in exercise science, and I've also done some study in behaviour change, which is fascinating, and I love that topic because it's definitely very important in terms of making health changes. So we all know that we should eat better, we should eat more veggies, we should eat more fruit, we should eat less processed foods, and that we should be drinking more water. But why don't we do it? What is the reason we don't do it? It's the how that is often the problem that people face. So the first thing that I want you to do is think about the why. And this is really important so that you connect your goals to a broader meaning, because I think what happens a lot of time is people come up with some goals, like they want to lose weight or they want to get fitter, but they don't actually think about the why that's behind it. So think about, what are you wishing to become? What are the changes that you're really looking for? Is it that you want to become more energetic? Is it that you want to have more time to or more energy to play with the kids? Is it you want to be sleeping better? Is it you just generally want to be living a better life and you know that you could be doing that? And by connecting to this why, it means that you're going to be looking for those changes, and it's a bit more noticeable rather than some of those, things like losing weight. It's a number on a scale. It's going to change every week anyway, regardless, because of different things like hormonal changes, etc. But if you all of a sudden have more energy, then that is going to be something you will definitely notice and know that you're on the right path. The next thing that I want you to think about is focusing on what you wish to become. Now, this is more tied up with your identity. A lot of people, when they come in and see me and want to make some health changes, they've always said, oh, I've never been someone that really likes eating veggies, or I've never been a fit person, but I do want to be that person. And it's trying to switch your mind to be thinking around, well, I am that person. Everything I do, everything I'm working towards is being that person, and that's going to be my new identity. So I'm a healthy person. I'm a fit person. I'm somebody who, tries to make health changes every day. And those little steps that you take are going to be the things that start creating that new identity for you, rather than thinking, I'm a person that eats junk food all the time, and then that's more positive reinforcement that you're probably going to keep doing that. The next thing is to start small and achievable. Most people, when they set goals, set really big goals. So they might say that they want to, be eating 5 serves of vegetables a day, which is the recommended number of serves. But to be able to do this from the outset is just setting yourself up for failure. So start by thinking about how you can break that goal down. So if it was something around you wanting to eat more veggies, then think about, well, realistically, how many do I think I can eat, extra in a day? And how am I going to do that? And how do I break it down to make it easy and achievable? So you might say, realistically, I'm going to try and introduce an extra serve a day. That's 1 cup of raw veggies or half a cup of cooked veggies. So how will I do that? Will I add them to my lunches? Will I add them to my dinners? Think about a time that you can add them, and then really set that as your goal. So if you've identified that, yeah, I can probably add an extra cup of salad to my lunches, that's something that's achievable once a week. I'll start off once a week because I know I can do it. There's a day in the week that it's much easier for me to do that. And that's what you start with, rather than kind of starting with these grand plans. They're going to set yourself up for failure. It's interesting when you look at a lot of challenges. You see challenges for things like gyms and things like that, and they have their place, don't get me wrong, but often they're set as a 6-week, challenge or something like that. And they've got huge aspirations and huge targets you're trying to reach. You're trying to reach, a certain weight loss. You're trying to eat a certain meal plan. You're trying to exercise a certain number of times a week. And what often happens is when people finish that 6 weeks, they drop completely off the bandwagon because it's not sustainable. Whereas by starting off small and just adding a little bit every week, it makes it much more sustainable and something you can build into your lifestyle that will last forever. The next thing you need to do is make it attractive, because let's face it, who's going to keep doing something if they don't like doing it? So an example I often give is when people are wanting to increase their physical activity and they might be saying, I want to do more walking, but I don't really like walking. It's not something that really sparks my interest. I find it a bit boring. So think about something you can tack onto it to make it more attractive. Is it walking with a friend? So you can have a chat and a catch up as you walk rather than sitting down for a cuppa. Is it putting on a favourite podcast or some music that you really enjoy? Maybe you've made a new playlist. Think of a way that you can make that habit more attractive to you, more likely that you're going to want to do it. Again, same thing for healthy eating. If you're sort of thinking, I really need to eat more salad or more veggies, but I really don't enjoy these certain veggies. Well, don't have those veggies, have different veggies. Choose ones that you do enjoy, because that's going to make it much more achievable and much more likely that you will continue that habit. The importance of repetition is something that is needed to create a healthy habit. So reinforces that new identity every time you repeat that activity. It makes behaviours become more automatic, so more likely that you're going to do them. You think of an example, and I'm sure many of you will have heard that, cleaning your teeth. It's a habit that you do every day, every morning, every night. You don't think about it. You don't have to remind yourself. You just do it. It's just already ingrained in your being, because that's something you've done from a very young age. So what you're trying to do is replicate that idea of cleaning your teeth with something like going for a walk or eating, the foods that you're wanting to eat. And how do you do that? So the more that you sort of chip away at it, the more that you repeat that activity, the more you're going to want to do it. I've got an example that, like when I'm, so used to going for a walk in the mornings now, first thing I do, then now it's just such a habit that if I don't do it, I actually feel pretty terrible, because my body's so used to doing it that I feel really sluggish if I don't do it. And that's taken time to build that and effort, because, to make it something that's repetitive or repeated is that it has meant that I've had to get up on cold mornings, rainy mornings, just dress appropriately and get it done. So it is very important to keep repeating those habits. Tracking is something that some people love and some people hate, but it does definitely have its place in terms of creating a healthy habit. So it reminds you that you need to act. We all need little reminders of things, and just being able to have it written down, even just the act of writing it down has been shown to be something that can really help you achieve your habits, because you've consciously actually written it down, you've committed it that, onto paper, and then you get to tick it off when you do it, which is also very satisfying. It helps you see your progression. So if I ask a client, I see them every 3 weeks, for example, and I ask them, how did you go that first week since I last saw you? They're not going to remember. Whereas if you've got a habit tracker or some way that you're tracking your habit, then you're going to actually look back and say, yeah, actually that first week I did really well. I did that activity 3 times like we discussed, and then it fell by the wayside, and you can kind of then troubleshoot and look at why that might have happened, rather than having no record at all and being really vague about it. So I think it helps you to focus on those progressions rather than that end result. You can see that you've managed to do it. You can think about the times that you've had trouble doing it and adjust it from there. You might like to use, like for example, in that photo there, there's a journal. It can be as simple as a piece of paper. You could do it in your phone, on your notes section. There's lots of ways you can record. It's just up to what you think works best for you and how you wish to do it. You can buy beautiful, you know, habit tracking documents at places like KikiK that do all the stationery. It just depends how much you want to put into it. And, you know, it can be as simple as a notebook as well. So here's the way that we can put these principles into action. So I wanted to give you a bit of an example. So my why, for example, might be that I want more energy to be able to play with my kids and enjoy life. That's the why I'm wanting to do that behaviour, rather than I said like that example of connecting it to weight. You know, weight might be part of it. I might want to lose weight, but that isn't the ultimate, you know, that isn't the ultimate thing that I'm going to, or the feeling that I'm going to get from it. Weight isn't a feeling. So think about the why behind, you know, the losing weight, because it's going to give me more energy. It's going to mean that I can move better to play with the kids. So that's why I've chosen that as my why. I want to become healthy and athletic. So this is talking back to that identity and what kind of identity that I want. I want people to think that I'm a healthy and athletic person. So I need to start thinking like that. That needs to be my new identity. The starting point. So again, breaking it down, breaking that habit right down to the basics. So I will prepare salad bowls 3 times per week for lunches. You can even go further and say which days of the week I might prepare it or have those salad bowls ready. So sometimes, you know, when I talk to clients, I'll be saying, what's a day that you find easiest to do your meal prep? Might be Sunday. So let's say the first 3 days of the week, which are your busy days, are those days that you're going to use those pre-prepared salads on, the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So you could have that you're going to prepare salad bowls on a Sunday and you will eat them 3 times per week on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday for lunches. That would be a fantastic goal because you've been really, really specific around what you're wanting to achieve. Then you can, you know, track that as well, as we discussed. Make it attractive. So as I said, choose things that you enjoy. Don't choose things that you don't enjoy. You can play around with it for sure, and you should always try different things, but just try and make it something that you enjoy. So if there's something that you really love, like for example, avocado, make sure you pop that in that salad bowl so that you can really be looking forward to that dish when you come to eat it. Don't make it boring, you know, make sure you choose something that's a good recipe. Repetition. So this is like you're doing this thing 3 times a week, every week. It's going to be something that you build on, but you're doing it as a start 3 times a week. And that 3 times a week would be something that you've identified is achievable for you, that you're pretty confident you can actually do that. And as we said, the tracking, you could do that on your phone, you could do it in a little notebook, just to make sure that you're doing this activity 3 times a week. So I hope that's given you some really good ideas of how you can make habits more achievable by just simplifying it, really connecting to the why. And it's worth taking time to jot these things down and, you know, just thinking about them each week, reviewing it each week, because habit changes won't happen unless you are really taking a consideration to them and really having a good thought process around them. They're not just going to magically happen. You know, we all know that feeling where you wake up on a Sunday and go, right, Monday, this is it. This is when I'm going to start being healthier. That's, you know, that's when it's happening. And then it might happen for a few days and then it all falls off the bandwagon. And that's because there's no thought process around it. So it is worth putting these simple steps into practice and seeing how you go. So you can find me on all of those channels there. You can email me if you have any questions. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram. I post lots of recipes and health tips. So I'd love to see you there. You can also find me on my website, And I've got information there if you feel like you need some more personalised help as well. And fantastic to have you with us today. And I hope you enjoy the rest of Women's Health Week. See ya.